During World War II, black cadets are selected to become fighter pilots for the Army.
I feel like I'm flying my grandfather's Buick.
But racism and a lack of government support hampers their every step.
You have not assigned us a single forward mission.
You're just gonna have to suffer failure.
Despite the odds, the Tuskegee Airmen prove more than their worth in Red Tails.
Welcome, Greg, the newest member to our show.
Thank you so much.
We've all just seen it. Do you want to start us off?
Red Tails is the story of the Tuskegee Airmen, the first all-African-American fighter squadron in World War II. In that respect, it does a great job of showing how they rose to the level of prominence and fame that they have now, but ultimately it doesn't do a good job, in my mind, of telling a realistic story about these people.
I wanted to love this movie, every single bit of it. Unfortunately, I ended up just liking it, and because mainly it didn't have the grit that I think it needed to have.
What we have is the story about pride and accomplishment and achievement.
You're colored men in the white man's army. It's a miracle you're flying fighters in Italy and not mopping latrines in Milwaukee. Any of you feel otherwise, any of you want to wash yourselves out, well, Negro, please do so. I'll have you on the next thing smoking back home to make room for the men who want to stand and fight.
It might feel like it's too glossy because that's the way institutional racism works, is that it embeds itself within something like the United States military.
Well, I actually disagree with you a little in that because it takes this horrible, oppressing thing and it puts it instead into the heads of a few white racists.
Well, the main reason for that is because they wanted to be able to make this a movie for kids.
It's full of these comic moments and these intense action moments, but ultimately I feel it lacks like the strong human core to it.
It follows the style of a 40s type of movie.
Well, and the problem with that is that those 40s war pictures were propaganda films.
Lucas was very clear that he wanted to tell us an action story
about
black fighter,
Yeah.
an action story about black fighter pilots. And the more we begin to diverge into why it's important to even be paying attention to this, it does tend to diffuse the focus.
The film, interestingly, is credited to two writers, John Ridley and Aaron Magruder, known best for The Boondocks, which, when hearing that, I was actually very excited. Unfortunately, I feel like the script was a little bit mishmashed together, a bit of a Frankenstein. This has been in the process for about 20 years. George Lucas started with the first draft, and it's gone through dozens of different writers, and it kind of shows.
And I agree, I do believe that the writing is a little remedial. You have expositional dialogue that's going on here.
Constantly.
You've got people saying things that they've just done, which are like screenwriting 101 kinds of things to avoid.
Yeah, exactly.
Congratulations, Captain! You are the first Negro to shoot down a Jerry! Woo!
I think the acting is good in this movie, but I don't think the actors have much to work with. Most of the scenes take place in cockpits, which really prevents any sort of emotive physicality between the actors. And I never really sense the fear.
David Oyelowo, who was also in Rise of the Planet of the Apes, he's really the kind of the heart and the heat of this story.
He was the best on screen, mainly because his character had an arc as compared to everybody else's who was just kind of stagnant the whole way through.
I really don't think that's true. He starts the movie as a daredevil.
And the movie ends with him being a daredevil.
Yeah, he's a
let's just say
daredevil.
let's just say a lot of stuff happens to him.
Where's Lightning?
The hell are you, Lightning? Taking a train from the front like you should have done.
Come on.
Gotcha!
I think the fault is squarely with George Lucas, who
Yeah.
doesn't fail to achieve an aesthetic, but actually accomplishes the exact same George Lucas style that we've seen in all of the prequels. It's that same wooden acting. You can tell they were filming behind green screens because nobody in any way interacts with their environment.
They can't move because they can't disturb the green screen.
They don't seem to be present.
Right.
They never seem like they're there.
I have to say the aerial CGI dogfighting.
Oh, it was phenomenal.
Well,
it was completely
what's
phenomenal.
so good about the CGI is that it maintains the same aesthetic from the beginning to end. When I see bad CGI, I notice it because it jumps out at you. It doesn't look like the things it's next to.
Right.
And there's never a moment in this film where you say, oh, that was a special effect.
Well, it looks like we've said all there could be said about Red Tails. Why don't we take it to a vote?
Let's do it. Red Tails is a film that is seriously flawed. However, the themes are so powerful and they make you proud. And when you add that up with those air fight sequences, it's a see it.
Though this film was overglossed and had quite a few problems here and there, I must applaud its effort, acting, and really some great aerial dogfights. See it.
This movie is a glossy thrill ride that ultimately has very little substance to it. While I was entertained, I can't give it more than a stream it.
All right, our votes add up to 2.5 tickets, which is a see it for Red Tails. Cheers.
Welcome, Greg.
Thank you.
That wasn't too painful, was it?
It was great.